All right, so this next topic says study says eliminating processed. Ooh, let me say that again. Brain fart. Study says eliminating processed foods from children's diets reduces ADHD symptoms by 53%. All right, let's check this out. This is an interesting topic. And this goes into another segment of the winner's diet, man. So let's check this out. All right. So it says here that eliminating processed food from children's diets may reduce ADHD symptoms by up to 53%, according to research. A study published in The Lancet found that dietary intervention, specifically removing processed foods, additives, and artificial coloring, significantly reduced attention deficit hyperactivity disorder ADHD symptoms in children. Researchers observed improved behavior and focus, supporting the growing link between diet and mental health in young individuals. Yeah, um, I can definitely get on board with this. Man, we don't understand how much chemicals and preservatives and, you know, all these things that are in our food today. You know, we just see food, it looks good, it smells good, it tastes good, we eat it. That's kind of just how we are as human beings, you know. Um, but we don't know the effect that it has on us long term, especially in children. You know, nowadays you can't really go outside and not see a fat kid. I see fat kids everywhere now, more than I need to be. You know, um, and I'm gonna say this, man. Like, if your child is fat, you're that's bad parenting. I'm not gonna call you a bad parent, but it's bad parenting, man. And it just kind of reflects the habits that they see at home. And I get it sometimes, the parents might be busy. You got both parents working, you know. So the quickest thing might be to just whip up a frozen, frozen dinner or order a pizza or order Chick-fil-A, whatever the case is. But there has to be an emphasis, man, on whole foods, right? There has to be an emphasis on eating quality, macronutrients. There's no way your kid should be overweight. I used to work in a school before, and the amount of kids that I've seen that were just already on that obese scale was insane. And it's always been like that. Kids have always been fat. Kids have always been overweight, but not to this degree. Now it's on a different level where we're seeing more and more kids overweight, and now they're reporting that these kids have high levels of depression and mental health issues. When I was a kid, mental health has always been around, but I guess the topic of it has now been popularized since, especially since the pandemic. But yeah, man, these kids they're already depressed at 11, 12 years old. And I would argue that a lot of that comes from the food that they eat. So there's no reason that kids should not be getting some type of exercise. There's no reason why they should not be eating, just proper protein, proper carbohydrates, you know, fruits and vegetables, just the basics, basic necessities of life, man. We understand not everyone's going to have access to Whole Foods. We're not going to have access to, you know, some of the top grocery stores, in the country, especially depending on your socioeconomic status. But it's still possible to eat healthy and be low income. I've trained plenty of people that they found a way. They did not let their socioeconomic status stop them from, eating healthy. Now, the quality may not have been the best, right? Depending where you're shopping at, but they made it a point that we're not just going to let this, ruin our health. We're still going to prioritize eating correctly, fruits and vegetables. You can find that anywhere. Fruits and vegetables. That should be the last thing that you guys should not be eating. So Fruits and vegetables should be the number one priority. You can go around certain qualities of meat, carbohydrates. That could be found in many places as well. Sweet potatoes, white rice, you know, things of that nature. You can make it work, man. You can make it work. I've lived in these areas before as well. I've lived in East LA, you know. I've lived in East Oakland before. Like I've lived in these places that were lower income, and I found ways to make sure my health was still in order because certain grocery stores, yeah, they may not be the best, but at least they have somewhat of what I need. So it's just it comes down to your excuses, man. It comes down to how bad you want to get it done. You know, you got certain people that are forever. Certain people are gonna forever make excuses as to why they can't get in shape, and those people are just born to lose and born to stay where they are. And then they transfer that type of mentality onto their kids, and then you see how their kids end up. So it's not a good look. Um, I wish parents would, really make more of an effort to, you know, educate their kids on the importance of being in shape, and eating the right food. Um, you know, it's just it all comes down to effort, man. It all comes down to effort. So your kids are gonna watch what you do. They're gonna watch how you eat. They're gonna watch your habits, and especially if they're young kids, you know, they're gonna follow you. So it's very important to set the example. I remember when I was a kid, I was watching my parents. I was watching how they did certain things. They worked hard, so it was nothing for me to work hard. You know, and if they ate like shit, well, I was gonna eat like shit. So again, man, it's the habits. That's all it boils down to.